That was a fantastic lap.
Thank you.
You sounded surprised when you got told you had pole.
Yeah, I think I was just off sequence with the others because I was the only one who got one more lap, which was our own doing. Was because we went down the pit lane first behind the Ferrari. So it was not like other people who didn't have that opportunity to get one more lap. It was, and we were last in the pit lane, you know. So I was quite surprised they ended up second in the pit lane. No one seemed that bothered to get out early and to get maximise the time. And it turned out that me being the first one, because I overtook the Ferrari, was the only one who had one more lap, and that got me pole today. So, our own doing, our own manifesting, I guess, or just our own preparation. So some good decisions, some good strategy and teamwork out there today, even though it was qualifying. And it was a very good lap. Of course, I made the mistake in the final chicane. Should be quite easy to see on the onboard, but so I think I probably lost like 3 or 4 tenths even. So that's why I was a bit surprised. But when I knew that no one else got one more lap, then I knew it was enough.
A couple of races ago, you said to me you were jealous of Jarve and Will being able to see your lap time come down, and you've got the delta back on your steering wheel.
I did then, yeah. I didn't start qualifying with it. I think halfway through Q1 or halfway through Q2, we turned the delta back on. Just because those sessions are not about being the quickest. It's about just having good references of lap time, knowing that the cutoff for getting into Q2 was, say, at 1:55. I need to know how far up I am, how much more risk I got to take. Because these conditions are when you got to know if you need to take 10% more risk. Do you have to push the braking a lot more and those kind of things. So I can judge it better when I have my delta on, like especially in the rain. If it was dry, I wouldn't have had it. So it's just different times. You need different information, and I do envy Will and Jarve today because it was horrible out there and really not nice to drive. Almost every corner you feel close to crashing, and it's like crazy scary, but at the same time when you do the laps and when you end up on pole, then it's one of the better feelings too.
What about the race tomorrow? Because this car in the dry, I mean, the team didn't necessarily think, looking ahead to Vegas, this was going to be a race for you guys.
No.
So what sort of car have you got in the dry? We don't have much long run pace from anybody really.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were still quick yesterday, or even this morning when it was dry. So I think our confidence has definitely gone up. But it's a long race, and there's still going to be issues that we struggle with, that we don't know if they're going to be a lot better tomorrow. But they're only things that we can find out tomorrow. So, I think we'll prepare. We know what to expect, or we'll prepare to expect whatever situation we're in. But we want to win tomorrow. So that's the goal. But it's definitely not going to be an easy one.
Great job today, well done. So Oscar, was it you got caught by the yellows on the last lap?
Yeah.
So how was the car up until that point? I mean, where could you have been if you'd not come across them?
I don't know. There was a few things as well at the start of the lap that didn't go great from a operational point of view. I had to mess around with a few things that didn't quite go how I wanted. So I don't know how much time there was in there ultimately, and there's still 3 or 4 corners left to go. So difficult to say, but what I can say is there was more out there that we didn't get to use.
Points come tomorrow though, and clearly the team have worked on this car to make it better on this track in particular, because a lot of people were writing off the team for this race weekend. So can you look to tomorrow and think there is something you can do? You can challenge the likes of the Mercedes, the likes of Max around here tomorrow in the race?
I definitely think so. I think we've got a good car underneath us. It seems to be working well in all kinds of conditions. So, I think we can have a strong race tomorrow and hopefully make up some spots.
Thank you. Thanks, Oscar.
Thanks.
Well, Andrea, congratulations on the pole position. The Grand Prix drivers today demonstrated why they are the best in the world. There was some amazing skill out there on a very difficult track, but it seemed that Lando picked up where he left off in Brazil.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. One of the most difficult circuits to run in wet conditions. Very slippery tarmac, low temperature, the walls. So well done to everyone, pretty much, for the session being relatively clean compared to what it could have been. and it's good for our team because we have pole position with Lando, and a little bit of a shame with Oscar that found a yellow flag in the final attempt, which would have been his fastest lap, and could have put him in the first positions on the grid as well.
Okay, yeah, I think they replayed somewhere where he was backed into maybe a position with Hajdar around the place, but that was because of the yellow flags. Without that, what, second row, something like that?
Yeah, I think the P3 was possible with Oscar. I'm not sure, I should look at the details, but you know, what's possible counts up to a certain point. P5 is still a good position. I think we have a competitive car this year. Vegas has been one of the places in which we have traditionally struggled in the previous 2 editions, so there's been an important investment in terms of understanding the technical and also the driving characteristics, trying to improve. So far good news, but obviously what counts is tomorrow, and we will try and do our best and finish on the podium with both cars.
Okay, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thanks very much.
Hi Max, so close, but somehow Lando managed to pull a lap out in those conditions in the McLaren that surprised him. It even sounded like in the car. Did it surprise you?
No.
No?
No, I mean, why would it? Why would it surprise me?
Well, a lot of people didn't think that they would be on it here. They would be behind you and the Mercedes here, maybe, perhaps on this track.
Yeah, that's some people that say that, but for me, it's never really been a big concern. I mean, they've been quick on almost every track. And especially in the wet on Inters, they've been super strong the whole season. So for me, there is no surprise that then, they are suddenly up there. But that's also at the end of the day not my concern, right? I can only control what I can with my car, and that's what we focus on. And I think we did well, considering. I mean, it's always very tricky out there, like easy to make mistakes, getting the timing right in Q1, Q2, consecutive laps, stuff like that. So we did well, but yeah, unfortunately in Q3 on the Inters, which has been a struggle for us already the whole season, to be quick on them, it was the same. It just took too long to have a really strong lap, and at the end to be second, I think, is still a very, very good result for us.
How on the limit were the conditions when that qualifying started today, do you think?
I mean, the conditions were fine in terms of water, but the track is super slippery, like almost like ice. Even in the dry, but in the wet, very difficult. And also there's not enough lights around the track, so when it's dark and wet, it's very difficult to see basically on the track what is a bit drier or not. So yeah, all of that makes it a bit difficult, or let's say a little bit less enjoyable.
Tomorrow though, the win's still on the cards for you, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be dry, the car looks quick. Still got a chance to win this race tomorrow?
We'll see tomorrow. I mean, we don't really have a lot of references. The only references that I had, I think we have to be better, but we'll see tomorrow. I mean, we haven't even touched also the hard tire. You know, everyone really saved up on them. So at the end of the day, it's going to be important that you are good on them. But yeah, no one knows.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Yuki, obviously tough time out there. The conditions look really treacherous. I saw you had a lap deleted for track limits as well. Just talk me through how frustrating. Pardon?
Last lap?
I saw earlier in the session. I'm not sure about the last lap. How?
I don't know. Just didn't have any grip.
Last all weekend. Was it surprising that when the condition got obviously very slippery with the rain, that it kind of the feeling went away from you?
Yeah. I'm not sure what's happened with the tire sets. I don't know. I feel like very strange. Yeah, it's a shame. Like, yeah. Until today was amazing pace. Probably best pace I've had, and yeah, like it's very tough.
George, in the press conference on Thursday, it sounded like you didn't think the McLarens would be there, and they've gone up there today. So can you just tell us about the surprise of that and what you were dealing with and why the car maybe wasn't what you thought today?
Well, I don't think that's a fair assessment. We were quickest in FP3, quickest in Q1, quickest in Q2. And I had an issue with the power steering in Q3 and qualified fourth. So, Lando did an amazing job, and these conditions are obviously very challenging. And ultimately, it always comes down to that last lap. That last lap is key. And unfortunately, in Q3, I had this problem. So, I'm not saying I would have been there with Lando. He clearly did an amazing job. But it was just a shame. But it went away from us at the key moment of the day.
What was the steering issue? Can you tell us any more about it?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I jumped out of the car 10 minutes ago, but just suddenly on one lap, I didn't hit a wall or anything, but the steering got really heavy. Every time I was sliding, I couldn't control. It was like getting locked in position. So on my fast lap, I was talking with the engineer, making sure it's even safe to drive, because when you're doing 230 miles an hour down the straight and you think maybe the wheel might fall off or something might happen, it's a bit concerning, and it doesn't give you the most amount of confidence to send it around the corner. So as I said, I am disappointed. We look quick. It just didn't come together, but P4 is not a bad place.
Well, exactly, because the points come tomorrow. So in the race tomorrow, if you think you have got a good car and there's overtaking opportunities around here, have you got a good chance of the win?
I think we've got a chance. I think we'll be in the fight. I don't think there'll be a big pace difference between the three teams at the front. Can't say which way, like who's going to be the quickest or who's going to be the slowest, but I'll be surprised if the spread is more than a tenth of a second between the three teams. So that makes for an exciting race. Sometimes being on, at the back to start with, you can do something slightly different with the strategy. So could be okay.
All right, thanks.
Hey Kimi, you've been fast all weekend long and you've always good in the wet. What happened in that quick you've been all weekend long? Still got optimistic you can try and salvage something tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, the pace is really good on the dry, so hopefully we can, overtake cars and move forward.
Hey Charles, obviously seeing you in the runoff shows how tough it was to just keep the car in the white lines today. Just talk me through that challenge.
Unfortunately, it's not today, and it's been like that since I... yet.
So does that mean every time you see these kind of tricky conditions, considering how long you've been at Ferrari, it's always going to be quite difficult?
I mean, you always go in the car with the most neutral mind as possible without thinking too much about what could go or whatsoever. We've had some few positive surprises sometimes, but for some reason, whenever we thought we had understood something, we were proved wrong the session after in the wet. So I don't think about it, but as a matter of fact, when you finish the sessions and do a step back on the overall picture in those conditions, it's not a bright one.
Luis, what were the difficulties in general? What feeling did you have in the car, like driving on ice?
Very slippery. Obviously, the first set of tyres didn't work for us, and I was just struggling to generate the heat in the tyres for some reason. And it's a shame because the guys did such a great job. The car was feeling awesome in P3, and I really felt like we had good pace, and obviously the rain came. Not a lot to say really from there, to be honest.
What happened in the last lap? Did something happen in timing, in your opinion?
No, I got yellow flags in the last corner, and going into coming into 17, there was yellow flags. So I had to have a lift, and when I came into the line, it was red. So.
Carlos, huge congratulations.
Thank you.
The car looked like it was going to be good around here, but how tricky was it to get the best out of it in those sessions?
It was tricky, but to be honest, since the first lap of X-Wet that I did today, I felt quite at home with the car. Weird, because in FP3 we were nothing special on the Inter, but the X-Wet at the beginning and the track being a lot wetter made myself more comfortable, and I think Q1 and Q2, every time I was closing a lap, I was around the top two always, and so I was kind of hoping the conditions would stay X-Wet. Unfortunately, they moved to Inter, which gets it closer to dry, and when it gets closer to dry, I think we always lack a little bit more. But honestly, on Inter, I was also quite quick. I think I did a pole-worthy lap in terms of how much I pushed and no mistakes and very clean. But I was one of the first ones to close the line, and behind I had two very fast drivers.
There's obviously the investigation into rejoining the track. What's your defence to that? Do you think you'll be all right?
It's very simple. First of all, you have very low visibility, so you're not aware who's coming, who's not. I know I'm generating a yellow flag, so I'm trying to remove myself from the yellow flag as soon as possible. And I think everyone was on build laps. No one was actually pushing because the tire is not allowing you to push. We were trying all to get the tires up to temperature. The conditions were treacherous out there. You cannot imagine how tricky it was, the low visibility, everything, and I just couldn't do a better job.
And just finally, will this car be this quick in the dry, or have you got any concerns tomorrow?
No, we are not as quick as in the wet, for sure. I think in the wet, we're on the fight for pole. In the dry, we would have never been in the fight for pole, but we would have been in the fight for maybe a top 6, top 7, top 8. And that's where I'm expecting to finish tomorrow. But first, they will need to pass me, and I'll try and make myself as wide as possible, as I did in Austin with the Ferraris, in Baku with the Mercedes. I'll give myself the best shot in trying to give the team another good result.
Hey Alex, obviously hard luck. It looked like really difficult conditions out there. Just talk me through that moment, obviously, when you started to lose the car and the frustration of that hitting the wall.
Yeah, nothing really, just a little bit of a snap. That's just how it is sometimes.
On the fact that you have been so quick all weekend, how annoying is it basically? Because you should have had a really good grid slot for today and a big score tomorrow.
Yeah, yes, but also we knew if it was going to be wet, we were going to struggle. So we're quick in the dry, and hopefully tomorrow is dry. But when the rain came before quali, we kind of were a little bit disappointed.
Hey Alex, obviously hard luck. It looked like really difficult conditions out there. Just talk me through that moment, obviously, when you started to lose the car and the frustration of that hitting the wall.
Yeah, nothing really.
On the fact that you have been so quick all weekend, how annoying is it basically? Because you should have had a really good grid slot for today and a big score tomorrow.
Yeah, yes, but also we knew if it was going to be wet, we were going to struggle. So we're quick in the dry, and hopefully tomorrow is dry. But when the rain came before quali, we kind of were a little bit disappointed.
Hey Fernando, you looked so fast at that first part of qualifying. It looked like you could get up to speed quite quickly. How tricky were the conditions there, and then how did you feel it went as quali progressed? Going into tomorrow, obviously, because no one's really done much long run pace, and I know that you've struggled with the car in terms of the track layout, but plenty of opportunities, right, tomorrow from where you
definitely. I mean, more optimistic now into the race than we were before. We started P7, and let's see what we can do. Definitely, I think we were not fast enough on dry conditions, so I expect tomorrow a tough race, but we do our best.
Really difficult session. How tough was it in the car?
It was absolutely mental. I mean, it's conditions that we don't get very often. I must say, on my side, I love it. It's you're sliding so much adrenaline. You don't really know what's gonna happen. You got to figure out in very, very quickly. We didn't drive in P3, so going out in Q1 was we knew we had limited amount of laps, and it's very tough, especially when you go through some places at 280 kph and you're having all these snaps and wheel spin, and it's pretty cool.
I mean, everybody seems to be full of adrenaline walking in here right now.
I'm not gonna sleep tonight. I know I'm done. I'm done. It's been a long time since I've had that much. Probably Brazil last year. But also this track is the last king before the finish line is not even a corner on the dry. Suddenly you go there on the wets and cold tires, everything, and you think twice, before you get there. And all this high-speed section as well. It's something.
You were quick in the dry here, though, as well in this car. So are there points available tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, try to take one session at a time and try to focus on our thing. Brazil, we managed to do points and Q3, and I'm glad we managed to get in the top 10 again today. So, it's tough. Overall, it's tough for us, but step by step, session by session, we managed to do a decent job. So we've got to keep going.
Well done. Thanks.
Thank you.
The conditions look so tricky out there. How are you feeling after that quali? You look pretty annoyed with yourself.
No, we got screwed at the end by Charles. He went out.
But still in a top 8 spot for tomorrow. The car's good around here. You've proved that all weekend long. You optimistic about making a few places tomorrow?
I think so. So far the pace this weekend has been consistent, even in the wet. It's been fast. So yeah, of course I'm a bit gutted. I would have liked to start a bit more ahead, but still it's good position.
Hey Liam, well, great work out there. How are you feeling about P6 on the grid for tomorrow?
Yeah, pretty happy. I think it's
particularly pleasing that you managed to get through unscathed, really, all through qualifying in those very tricky conditions that you just said.
Yeah, it's tough. You try to put every lap together, and you're just building up through the session. And I think we always started each session quite quickly, but honestly, it doesn't matter because the last lap, the last two, 1 or 2 laps are the ones that matter when the track's doing that. So trying to learn through the session and then put it all together on the last lap is always tough. But the car was good, honestly, in these conditions. So very happy.
Yeah, as the Isack Hajdar said, like he was very fast at the Q1 and Q2. Also, he was improving his lap at the Q3, but as he said, Leclerc just costed him a lot, costed for his team a lot, but they have the pace, and I think he has the pace. He just showed us today, and I think he will have tomorrow opportunity to make some overtakes and to show us a very good show. And Liam Lawson, of course, also is having a very good performance last couple of races, and also this today's qualifying position was very well. And as you know, both of the Visa Cash drivers are just fighting for that Red Bull seat. Hajdar is fighting for his first time to be at Red Bull, and Liam Lawson is just looking for that second opportunity to try that Red Bull seat at the new season in 2026. Don't forget to like the video, comment, and to subscribe to the channel.